so whenever we have an angry child, the goal is always to help de-escalate them, right? To help bring them back down to baseline. And this is challenging because if we're not careful, we can accidentally add fuel to the fire, okay? We can make a hard situation even harder by the things that we do and say. And I know managing intense emotions is not easy, and it can very easily feel like we are walking on eggshells, right? We're like, oh, can't do this, oh, can't do that. So I'm here to help you. I'm going to share with you the 5 things your angry child does not want to hear, and most importantly, what to do and say instead. Okay, starting with number 1, your angry child does not want to hear, take a deep breath in the heat of the moment. So a common mistake that I see parents make is trying to get their child to practice a coping skill in the heat of the moment, right? And the intent is good. I mean, ideally, we do teach our child how to practice a coping skill to help take care of their bodies when they're feeling really angry and frustrated. The problem with this is that our child can easily feel like we're trying to manipulate their feelings, like we're trying to control them when we tell them to do something, right? Take a deep breath, count to 10, whatever it is, right? It can easily spark a power struggle if we're not careful. And I don't know about you, but if I was in the heat of the moment and I was sharing a feeling with my partner, my friend, my coworker, and they just told me, just take a deep breath, it would feel very condescending and like they're just not really interested in hearing me out. They're just trying to focus on getting me to be quiet. And so our child can easily feel this way if we're coming from that energy. So instead, what I like to do is I say, wow, we're having a big moment. We're having big feelings right now. I am going to help calm my body down by taking a deep breath. And I just model and I just focus on regulating my nervous system, because the thing about when our child is angry is that it can easily knock us off balance and make us feel some type of way. So I like to just focus on what I can control, which is my own process, my own nervous system. So I just say out loud what I'm doing, I model it for them, and I focus on staying present in the moment. Now, if they join me, great. If they don't join me, great. But I'm not going to try to get into a power struggle, try to get them to do something in the heat of the moment. I'm just going to focus on me. Okay, so I encourage you to try that out and let me know how it works. So number 2 thing your angry child does not want to hear is, what is wrong with you? Why are you doing that? And I know that when our child is in an angry episode, it can feel very overwhelming and confusing. Like you're just triggered by any little thing and it's just like, what? What's happening, right? But the problem with this is that this statement doesn't really lead to any kind of problem solving. I mean, what is your child supposed to do with that question? And in fact, it can induce shame, which then just makes them more likely to do the things that they're already doing, right? We cannot shame our child into better behavior. And also keep in mind, especially if you have a young child, that they don't have the maturity and the brain development needed to be able to sit back and say, you know what, why am I doing the things that I'm doing, right? And to be able to reflect and think about their thinking and all of that higher order cognitive functioning that us adults can do, right? It's just not in their wheelhouse just yet. And so this question can just spark more overwhelm. Again, we're adding heat to the already blazing fire, and again, it doesn't lead us anywhere. So I would just avoid that question altogether. You can say something like, wow, we're having a hard moment right now. Wow, you have a big feeling. I am ready to hear you out. I'm ready to understand what's going on for you when you're ready. And or just focus on problem solving, okay? Just focus on moving that moment along instead of trying to understand things that maybe it's just not time to understand them yet. Number 3 thing that your angry child does not want to hear is, you're overreacting, or stop being so sensitive, right? Now, I know that especially for young kids, again, it feels like we're walking on eggshells. It feels like their behavior and their feelings are just so hot and cold, right? One minute they're happy-go-lucky, and the next minute they're throwing a fit because you gave them the red cup and not the green cup. Okay, spoiler alert, it's not really about the cup. It's not really about the color. It's not really oftentimes about what it is that they are having a feeling about. And it just adds fuel to the fire because now you're shaming them again and you are trying to control their process. You see the theme here, right? Whenever we're trying to control the process, whenever we're trying to get them to stop doing something or stop having a feeling, or we are criticizing the way that they're responding to things, it's just gonna add fuel to the fire. It's not gonna make things better. So again, I can't stress this enough. Focus on problem solving, okay? Or just focus on staying quiet and regulating yourself. Okay, number 4 thing your child does not want to hear when they're angry is, if you keep this up, no dessert for you, or no TV, or no iPad, or whatever, right? Like, you're focused on a punishment. And here's the thing, ultimatums and punishments, they never work to diffuse the situation. Again, we're just adding fuel to the fire. Keep in mind, consequences are best when they are planned ahead of time. They keep your child's age and development in mind. They are communicated to your child before the situation arises. And ideally, they're not done in anger, right? That we're calm, we are thoughtful in our approach. It just tends to go a lot better, okay? It's not to say we're always gonna get this right and we're gonna be perfect at this, but consequences are best and most effective when they're done in those ways. Now, check out my free discipline workshop if you need more help with getting your child to cooperate without having to do the things that you hate, like yelling, dishing out threats and punishments. It's gonna walk you through how to break the cycle of constantly feeling like you have to yell just to get your child to hear you. It's also gonna talk about ways to de-escalate an angry child, and step-by-step how to implement consequences that actually are effective and don't compromise the parent-child relationship or your sanity. So be sure to check out my free workshop. You can go to themomspsychologist.com/workshop to watch it. It's completely free. Okay, number 5 thing your angry child does not want to hear is, don't be upset, just look at the bright side. So just keep in mind, when your child is upset and they're triggered, their emotional brain is on, right? They're not at a place to be able to think more clearly and logically. So trying to use that rational brain with their emotional brain, oftentimes it clashes, right? Now, it's not to say that we're not going to try to help them adjust their perspective and look at things differently. It just means maybe we wait a little bit, or maybe we choose our words carefully when we're trying to get them to adjust their perspective. We always want to come alongside them and meet them where they're at and speak to the ultimate goal or need that they're trying to get met. Again, check out my workshop if you need more help with these types of things. Because again, navigating intense emotions, getting our child to cooperate, and trying to do all of the things when it comes to parenting is not always that straightforward. And just keep in mind that a lot of the times when our child is angry, they just want to feel heard, right? Again, goes back to how would we want our partner or our friend to show up for us when we are feeling upset, frustrated, discouraged about something, right? We want to feel heard. We want to feel understood. We want to feel like the person that we are venting to gets us, and they're not trying to control us, right? They're not trying to get us to do something aligned with their agenda. They just want to hear us and look at things from our perspective for that moment. Because oftentimes the best form of anger management is simply to feel heard and understood. All right, that is it for this video. I really hope that is helpful. Let me know which phrase you're working on cutting out. I know these things are hard. We're not always going to be perfect at this. I am rooting for you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.